Every neighborhood has that one person who thinks the rules don't apply to them. In my case, it was our HOA president Karen. She strutted around like she owned the whole street, barking orders at neighbors, handing out fines for the smallest infractions, and always reminding everyone she knew people in power, but her petty tyranny reached a whole new level when she decided to target me. Her method? My mailbox. Time after time, she'd accidentally back her SUV into it, flattening it with a smirk before driving off. But Karen made one fatal mistake. She thought I wouldn't fight back. Oh, but I did. It started small at first. I assumed it was just bad luck. A couple of mornings I'd step outside with my coffee, ready to grab the mail, only to find my mailbox leaning sideways like a drunk after a long night out. Scratches across the post, tire tracks in the grass. It wasn't hard to guess what had happened. The first time, I gave Karen the benefit of the doubt. After all, she lived directly across the street, and her driveway required backing out at a tricky angle. But when it happened again just a week later, and again the week after that, the pattern became impossible to ignore. Neighbors whispered that Karen had it out for me because I dared to question her ridiculous HOA fines. Once, she tried to bill me $50 because she didn't like the shade of mulch I used in my flower beds. I pushed back, appealed the fine, and won. That didn't sit well with her, and soon after, my mailbox mysteriously became her personal demolition target. I fixed it, over and over, bought new posts, new boxes, reinforced them with concrete. Each time, Karen plowed through them like it was her own twisted version of a demolition derby. And the worst part, she'd smirk when she saw me reinstalling it, sipping her iced coffee like it was all some sick game. But what Karen didn't know was that I had grown up with a father who believed in problem solving with creativity and steel. And after mailbox number 6, I decided enough was enough. It was time to build one Karen wouldn't be walking away from so easily. I started researching heavy-duty mailboxes online, scrolling through forums where frustrated homeowners shared their battles with vandals, careless drivers, and even snowplows. That's when I stumbled on a little gem, the Fort Knox mailbox, built from quarter-inch steel, mounted on a reinforced steel post, and designed to withstand anything short of a tank. But I didn't stop there. With a background in welding and plenty of free time, I decided to take it one step further. Using scrap metal from a buddy's workshop, I fabricated a custom post, a 6-inch steel pipe, filled with concrete, anchored 3 feet into the ground. By the time I was finished, my new mailbox looked unassuming on the outside, painted the same dull black as before, but beneath the surface, it was a fortress. The day I installed it, I noticed Karen watching from her porch. She tilted her sunglasses down, smirking as if she was already planning her next hit. I kept my cool, waved politely, and tightened the last bolt. Inside, though, I was counting the hours. It didn't take long. That very night, around 11 p.m., I was sitting by the window when I saw headlights flicker across the street. Karen's SUV rolled out of her driveway, slowed in front of my house, then revving slightly swerved toward the mailbox. The sound that followed was glorious. Instead of the usual crunch of wood and metal, there was a bone-jarring clang, followed by the screech of twisting steel and a loud pop as one of her tires blew out. Her SUV lurched to a stop, the front bumper hanging loose, her hood crumpled like an accordion. I stepped outside, coffee mug in hand, pretending to be surprised. Karen stumbled out of her car, clutching her arm, her face twisted with rage. She pointed at my mailbox, now standing perfectly straight, not a dent in sight, and screamed, "This is illegal. You set me up." By now, porch lights were flicking on all up and down the street. Neighbors peeked out, some openly laughing, others shaking their heads. Karen had finally exposed herself, and the best part, I had installed a small security camera across the yard, recording everything in glorious HD. Karen, of course, called the police. She insisted I had built a booby trap, that I was responsible for the damage to her SUV. When the officers arrived, I calmly showed them the camera footage, Karen swerving on purpose, aiming straight at my mailbox, grinning like it was a game. The officers exchanged a look, then turned back to Karen. "Ma'am, it looks like you intentionally drove into his property. That's vandalism. You'll need to file damages with your insurance." Karen's jaw dropped. She sputtered excuses, but the evidence was undeniable. The officers warned her that any further incidents could lead to charges. And just like that, Karen's reign of terror crumbled. But Karen wasn't done, not yet. A few days later, she tried one last desperate move. She marched into the next HOA meeting, waving photos of her destroyed SUV, and demanded I be fined thousands of dollars for installing a dangerous structure she claimed the mailbox was a hazard, a threat to the safety of the neighborhood. I sat quietly until it was my turn. Then, I slid a USB drive into the projector. The room filled with gasps as Karen's late-night joyride played. On the big screen, her SUV swerving deliberately, her smug grin, the moment of impact. When the footage ended, silence hung in the air. Then, from the back of the room, someone started clapping. Soon the entire room was applauding, neighbors who had endured years of Karen's bullying, her nitpicking, her fines, her power trips. The HOA board, red-faced and tired of her antics, voted unanimously to strip Karen of her position as president. Not only that, but they formally banned her from serving on the board ever again. For once, the entire neighborhood stood united, not in fear of Karen, but against her. Karen stormed out, her face pale, her hands shaking. And for the first time since I moved into that neighborhood, the air felt lighter. After that night, things changed. The new HOA leadership actually listened to the community, scrapping half of Karen's petty rules and focusing on real issues, like fixing the pool and improving security lighting. Neighbors who once avoided each other came together, finally free from her constant surveillance. As for my mailbox, it's still standing, tall and unscathed, a silent monument to what happens when bullies push too far. Karen tried to take me down with intimidation, but in the end, she took herself out by underestimating me and overestimating her own power. Sometimes, justice doesn't come from the system. Sometimes, it comes from standing your ground, refusing to be bullied, and building something so strong that no one can knock it down. Whenever I walk past that mailbox, I smile. It's not just steel and concrete. It's proof that even in the quietest suburbs, where the battles are over mailboxes and mulch, standing up for yourself can inspire an entire community. So the next time someone like Karen tries to push you around, remember, bullies thrive on fear and silence. Take away their power, and they crumble. And Karen, well, she definitely didn't see it coming.